Hello and welcome to the Every Other Saturday podcast for a brand new episode this week where Rangers have performed, amazingly against all the odds against Celtic. Obviously, even us on here speaking last week weren't really too confident going into that one, but we were able to produce one of the best performances of the season, get ourselves kind of back on track in that form against them, and win really convincingly, which was nice. But then for me, it was all about the reaction after that. How do we come out of the Celtic game? Do we stand still again, or do we actually take some strides forward and start building some momentum again? Because with this team, this Rangers club this season, it just feels like one step forward and then two steps back all the time. And it was that this weekend. Unfortunately, obviously, we got off to a roaring start for Hamza Man's double, and then just standard Rangers away performance really kind of just threw it away in the end. Cheap goals were lost, and we find ourselves obviously drawing the game three each in the end. But probably only ourselves to blame again. And that end, obviously Hibs are really up for it as well. But firstly, we'll start off with the Celtic game. Obviously, the more positive of the two. The New Year derby, it's always a tasty one. Usually, it's less points in the kind of gap as it is for this one. Obviously, we're 11 points behind at this point going into this game. Or 30, maybe 14, sorry, going into this game.
Yeah,
We eventually obviously won the game and it was 11 points, sorry. So it was a big game in that respect, not to kind of the points total would be embarrassing by January. So the players showed up and they showed a bit extra, something that I hadn't really seen all season. It was kind of winning on individual duels all over the pitch. I mean, we were well drilled. We took our chances, and we didn't really let Celtic into the game. We didn't really let Celtic breathe. And I think the past few, to be fair to Clement, we've been unlucky. The Scottish Cup final, a decision goes against us. We lose it's a goal at the end of the game, which can happen. Penalty shootout, obviously in the cup final, we were quite dominant throughout in that game for parts as well. And then obviously this one, we get rewards for actually winning the game, and it's a huge kind of monkey off Clement's back for winning the game because it seems like he's still going to be the manager of the club, whether we like it or not at the moment. And for the players as well to show that they can get by that mental block he beating Celtic. And obviously we enjoyed it as supporters, we enjoyed it as fans, but as we were saying at the top of the episode there, it was all about, right, how can we respond after this game now? That was my immediate thought after this game finished.
no, definitely was one of the thoughts, but obviously you're just enjoying it finally to get a victory. Thought FD was, mostly FD was outstanding. I thought FD was a bit shaky. He was a bit shaky today as well. I thought as well. But no, it was a top, as you say, performance where you were questioning where's that been all season. It seems to be obviously in the big games where this team turns up, but then when the pressure's on, they seem to just throw it away and bottle it.
Well, it seems to be with this team this season, it's away from home. We just can't seem to do anything. And away from home domestically, I mean, away from home in Europe, we can perform and beat Nice 4-1 pretty convincingly, but we can't beat St Mirren. Like, this team just is really, really weird with the way they go about things. But obviously, that was the team that started the day's game and
The old
the
firm.
game in Thursday against Celtic. There was obviously changes to be made, enforced changes as well. Ridvan Yilmaz comes in, Liam Kelly comes in for the start, Sterling proper. I mean, you see this team and you're like, right, just don't let it be embarrassing. And
Aye.
obviously, the everybody kind of done their roles perfectly. I thought Yilmaz was brilliant at right back. I thought Kelly was good in goals. Obviously, didn't really face too much, but one big save just before half time that he had to make. Two centre halves were really strong. As you say, Yefty had a poor kind of first half for me, but second half grew into the game a lot more. Diomande and Raskin complementing each other really well. Raskin captaining the side obviously for the first time as well. Done a really good job. Cherny unlucky, obviously not to score on the day, but again another really selfless performance for himself. Bayrami, I mean, you see the best out of him really in these games. I think he does that kind of job where we maybe had Cantwell last season that couldn't get close to McGregor. He couldn't close him down. He couldn't kind of cut the passing lanes. I thought it was a really selfless performance for Bayrami. Hadji, obviously, I feel set the tone for the full game, really. Obviously, early goal, rushing into challenges, making it hard for Celtic. And he was the catalyst that got us going. And obviously, Hamza man maybe had a quieter game as well, but still nothing to kind of say he was awful or anything. But aye, even the guys coming on, Danilo bagging himself a goal, and then just obviously the rest of the subs as well doing the job to see the win over the line. As you say, it was a good way to start the year.
Oh, it was a fantastic way just to obviously get one over on them. And as I said to you, it's for Kelly, I'm happy to see obviously another academy goalkeeper getting a clean sheet at home against Celtic. But I know the midfield was fantastic. Nico Raskin, sensational. And Yanis just bringing that energy and that passion that we've sort of seen since he's come back into the fold. As you say, you look at this team and you're thinking yourself, right, let's just hope it's not that many. But as I say, they turned up, man, and they gave everything they've got. Obviously, the day was a bit different, different story. Also, we'll get onto that. But no, I thought, as I say, I'm just at the time you were proud of the team. You got to go to bed, no being depressed, which was lovely. And then you watch the day's game and you think to yourself, it's two steps backwards.
Aye, you watch today's game and think, aye, maybe football really isn't for me after all. Obviously, we started off the game, electric start to the game. We had a couple of chances in the opening couple of minutes. Egaman obviously gets his first, I think it was like the fourth or fifth minute. Really fast start for Rangers, obviously with the right intent to get a goal early. Not really let Hibs breathe again, similar to what we were doing against Celtic, just try and attack for the get go. And we've been good at that in portions of this season where we've got goals early, but we can never see the game out or we can't build on the goal. We miss chances. It's just it seems to be the same kind of recurring theme with an added thing onto it every time. Obviously, Egaman does really, really well to chase down Bashiri, wins the ball back really nicely. Nice bit of trickery to get it through to Bayrami. Onto Hadji, I thought Hadji maybe took a step too wide, but he's able to bring it back in, drills it right to Egaman. It's a fantastic finish. It's a really good goal. And obviously, we get off to a good start there. Again, we're plotting for more. Up until I think about the 25th minute of the game, we were on top. We were creating chances. Bayrami had a couple. Czerny had one that forced a good save for the goalkeeper. And then obviously it was Bayrami that got the assist for Egeman's header, real good header into the top corner. And for that point, you're thinking, right, this could just be one of those games where we can chill out, we can maybe see it to half time, make some changes. Obviously, you've heard in the press that Czerny and Egaman and all these players that have been playing a lot of minutes, Diomande and Raskin, let's try and rotate them out, get a healthy lead, and see the game out. But as Rangers again, we're watching after all. We can't get too carried away after that performance the other night, and we just completely throw the game away. I mean, Hibs come back into the game through their own doing. Obviously, took a lot of fight for themselves. They've seen a massive upturn in form under David Gray, with their kind of never say die attitude really shone through in this game. Martin Boyle, obviously, he's kind of thorn in our side, isn't he, when we play him? He always seems to pop up with a couple of goals. Obviously, we could have done a lot better defensively with dealing with that attack, and then it just kind of felt like every single attack that Hibs made that would kind of cause us issues, especially with the crosses into the box. And for me at half time anyway, I was thinking, right, let's just reset and just try and get a third really quickly, because you knew Hibs were going to come on here as they've got the home crowd, they were going to be up for it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, as I said, I just think for me personally, mate, get the two goals and then we thought, right, sort of job done. Kind of for me settled in with the team, I thought. And then, as you say, Hibs came back into it. You always know it's going to be a difficult game when you go there away, obviously. Um, I think the players just switched off there after the two goals and thought that's job done. And you could tell when they were obviously passing back and stuff like that. When they start normally doing that, I can tell they're sort of like, nah, that's it. But no, listen, again, man, we just need to enjoy him as you tweeted out, man. We just need to enjoy him because this boy isn't going to be here for long. Absolutely,
No.
it's fantastic. Yet again, two sensational goals. Do you know what I mean? Showing up Everton. But no, just another game where you're like, what's the real point here again? You came out, you know what I mean? You came out for Thursday's game and you get a bit of buzz. You know what I mean? You're feeling good, and then you watch today's game and you just it's just shocking, really, for me again. Do you know what I mean? Another away game, and I tell you what, you'd be betting if you're a neutral, you'd be betting on a house on Dundee to be beating us on the Thursday.
I mean, that's a scary proposition. Obviously, we'll go on to talking about that game after the Hibs one, but
Honestly, but it's the same story all the time as we keep saying here. We've highlighted, you know what I mean? It's like one step forward and two back because come on, man, what are we doing here? Do you know what I mean? Sure,
yeah.
you've seen the first 25 and you're thinking, right, we're getting on for where we left off, and then they just switch off. They're just right. We've got the lead. Just see the game out, sort of kind of mentality set through for me personally.
I know,
But
pretty much, aye, because it felt like that. It felt like we were. playing the right way for the start of the game. There was so much space. We were creating so much overloads in the wide areas that Hibs couldn't deal with it. Hibs could not deal with the fact that we were putting so much emphasis onto the wide areas, crossing balls into the box, and it was able to bring players into the game. And we completely changed that after we went 2-0 up, and it's just like, just keep going with that formula. You'll force Hibs into mistakes. They were making silly tackles anyway. They couldn't breathe, but ultimately a couple of daft mistakes, and obviously we gave away the ball numerous times in this game. Daft tackles for Diomande and stuff to let Hibs get set
But I
pieces. It's
mean,
just
and the officiating, obviously, we didn't really touch on it there for the Old Firm game, but some of the decisions there in that game as well, you have to look at. And then in this game here, obviously, we'll touch on the penalty, but only in Scotland that's given personally for me. It's
oh,
one I
aye.
think as well. Whereas if it was we were on the other end of it, you'd take it obviously, but I mean, come on. And then Hadji's, I think it was Hadji, chasing the ball down and that Rocky boy or whatever just throws himself at the foot in the gate straight away, and you're like, come on. I just, what is the refereeing in this league, really, honestly? And it's not just
It's
for other games,
just
by the way. It's when you
no.
watch, see clips and highlights for other games, and you think, I mean, what's going on here?
Well, you think about it, right? So the whole meme, the whole thing is, oh, penalty Rangers because we get so many decisions. I don't think we've had a penalty this year. I think we only concede penalties now, and they're always just, obviously you can maybe hold your hands up for a couple of them. I even still think back to the one last season with Matt O'Reilly getting, he didn't even get tripped. He tripped himself up, and Diomande apparently gave away a penalty. Like in like things like that, and I sent you obviously the one I seen on Twitter for last season with Maeda and Cantwell. This is the exact same thing that happened today, and Hibs get a penalty for it. As you've said, and as Rangers fans will say, if that is any other team in the league, that's not a penalty. It's Rangers. It's pattern. It's patterns. The assistants. We've seen the same mistakes and the same refereeing blunders being given against us. I mean, we've got a perfectly good claim for a penalty in a cup final that changes the whole landscape of the season. Not given. It's confirmed by everybody that it's a penalty after the game. I mean, it only seems to be the one team on the receiving end of these poor decisions. And I mean, you even look at the image there. Josh Campbell's hand is in Hadji's face. It's a 50-50 into the box. Obviously, Josh Campbell's going to be fighting to get the ball because he's in the box. And obviously, Hadji's going to be trying to win it off him. But there's no clear foul made by any of them. It's literally just a tussle in the box for two
Box.
players where it's they're trying to get back into the game and we're trying to get the ball out of the box. It's a horrible decision for me, and obviously that ends up costing us a goal. Hibs are back into it. Martin Boyle with another one. Obviously at that point, Igaman and Boyle on hat tricks, and it is Igaman that eventually does get the hat trick on the day. We settled a wee bit more into the game. Hibs had chances, to be fair, after they went two each. They hit the post. They had a couple of scrambles in the box, and it felt like, right, what are
Yeah.
we actually doing here? It felt like just one of those times where we would just let everyone just collapse in front of us. And obviously, Dwight Gale had a header as well. Sterling goes off injured. You're thinking, could this get any worse at the moment? And obviously, Egeman pops up with the third. A lovely ball in for Václav Cherny. Great finish again for Egeman, running on his man. And you're thinking at that point, right, 3-2, just cool it there. But obviously, aye.
Wasn't he? He was unlucky not to get that fourth one, man. He was incredible unlucky not to get that fourth one. And obviously the goal we concede for the set piece is just that's just which I
Just
mean
it's really poor for all aspects for me.
it's shocking. As I say, but it's just another game where now you're sort of, as you said to me today, you're back to reality. You're just back to reality with this team. But I look forward to when obviously we play Man United and we turn up there. So.
Aye.
But no, I'm just as I say, mate. Just numb it, just numb it now. And I mean, Thursday's game's just going to. I mean, we don't even have two real decent centre halves. I mean, I think fair play to you, as I say, Liam Kelly. No, sorry, I King. Sorry, like coming on and trying his best, but you can't really have a go at him. Do you know what I mean? He's not had that many minutes this season at all. And then obviously the boy we've signed for AC Milan. I don't know where he's been all season really. Obviously, a youth sort of kind of player this season, but the fact that they'll be the two centre halves is a bit scary. Obviously going into that, but what can you do?
No, I know. I mean, like as you say, the three each. It happens. Kelly's kind of caught in no man's land. Leon King's marking Rocky Bushiri, who just towers over him. It's just
I don't know. I just think he's a bit too small to be like, surely you
yeah.
want your keeper out
That's
there
why he's
and
been tried at right back. He's been tried at centre defensive midfield. He's been
yeah,
tried at centre half. He's just, for me, in my opinion, anyway. I felt like Leon King. We've said it like for 2 years now that he needs a loan, and
yeah.
he's still just this guy that we have to, when we've got no other choice, we throw him into the deep end, and that's not really good for anybody's development. We're never really going to see how good Leon King actually is at that point. He's coming into the team at really tough times when we've got nobody else to kind of partner him to show him the ropes in a sense of how to be a centre half. And aye, it's obviously unfortunate that he gets thrown into it today, but at the same time, he has to be ready for what's coming as well. Like he shouldn't be the guy marking Bashiri at the corner. And aye, we obviously find ourselves at that point, three each. As you mentioned, obviously, Egaman could have made it four. Just when your luck's not with you this season,
Yeah.
it's just no way you. And he does again so much effort. It was basically his game today. It was all we should
Made.
be talking about on this podcast is him and how much money we're going to make off him and how excited we are to see him playing the next game. But ultimately, it's just poor defending. It comes down to, and it comes down to the same feelings that you have against Rangers all season. But Igaman obviously has been a shining light through that hat trick for him today, and really unlucky not to win us the game in the last minute, which would have been massive, absolutely massive. And you would have probably had suitors in phoning to get him to get him after that performance. But aye, fantastic performance for him. I think as a team we need to do so much better. We need to do so much better at kind of controlling the game. We need to see teams off and kill teams off a lot more. We need to be so much better defensively, and it's hard to say, oh, we need to be better defensively when we've got Dujon Sterling now out injured. We've got Robin Propper who won't be available for the Dundee game. You're maybe looking at Leon Balogun being rushed back into contention again, which doesn't sound right to
I
me.
wouldn't. I personally wouldn't be shocked if he tries and puts maybe Diomande in centre. I know it's a thing to say, but you could really get no other option
You've got
for it.
nothing now.
Nothing over there. I mean, maybe if he rotates, maybe Barron in there. You never know. He's got to do something. Obviously, I know after the game he was on about Patrick Stewart or whatever, going on about basically we've got no money. We're not going to be doing anything. Which I think we already knew, but. It's one of them now where he's going to have to rotate one of I think midfielders into play there for the game.
Well,
And I know,
the immediate thought would be maybe throwing Raskin in, and he's suspended now on Thursday as well. So
so I mean
you're
there is
leaving yourself so vulnerable for this
this
game.
this this Clement just come out of retirement for one game and
I
after
mean, you're honestly looking at that because as much as I've not been on Clement's side with a lot of things, I'm definitely on his side with if we go up to Dundee and get beat, then I don't feel that it's his blame.
well listen, but I
We've got
think
nobody to play at centre half. There should be our board, our transfer committee, everybody should be on the phone trying to secure a centre half or two before Thursday so they can play. That should be all that is getting focused on this
no, I mean you
till
you would
Thursday.
I mean you would maybe say as well before that the window even opened.
Exactly. We've spoke about it today.
I mean that's the one part I think most Rangers fans have sympathy with Clement on is obviously the transfers. But nah, listen, get the big man out of retirement for one game, pop himself
Well,
back at 10 and a half. Go
well,
on.
you're looking at the players the day that were featured, obviously in the squad and on the bench. Obviously, Clinton and Ciala and Leon King will probably, if nothing changes up until Thursday, be your centre half partnership, right? So you've
So,
then got Yefty and Yilmaz. Robbie Fraser's obviously went away out and loan to Livingston. It's you're leaving yourself vulnerable. I find it. I would find it very surprising if there's not some kind of fast tracked for Thursday. To be honest with you, we can't go to another away
yeah,
ground and drop points. It's as simple as that.
I know it's listen 100%, but you just know this board. They're not asked, mate. They don't care. You know what I mean? Figure it out. That's their attitude. You know what I
It's
mean?
penny
Figure it out.
pinching. Clement's had to already get solutions for beating Celtic, for going to games like this, and obviously near enough getting over the line. If you had better defenders playing this game, we wouldn't have conceded the goals that we did. It goes down to that point. If a Suter or a Balogun's playing today, do we lose the goals? I don't think we do.
I don't know.
Um, and that's where I do feel sorry for Clement, for the fact that he's had to deal with for large parts of his time here. But obviously, we
But
do move on to that Dundee game. It's another away game. Obviously, I think we've took 12 points for away games this season for a possible 30. It's been dismal form.
that's
Um,
That's where you don't feel sorry for Clement.
Aye, no, of course. The away form's been enough to get anybody sacked in previous Rangers history, so there has to be a change in that. He has to find a solution, whether that is dipping into the transfer market and getting somebody in before Thursday, so be it, or whether that is playing Clinton and Ciala and Leon King as your two centre halves. It might have to be that way. I mean, this is the team I've kind of went for. Obviously, Butland will still be out. Yilmaz will play at right back. Yefty will play at left back. As I say, two centre halves are up for debate at the moment. He might try and find a solution, but I think Insiala being in that squad today kind of says to me he'll be involved on Thursday, and I'm actually excited to see him. I think we've seen him in the B team and stuff, but we've not seen him at this level yet, and I'll be excited to obviously see how he deals with the physicality and the demands. He looks like a big boy. He looks like somebody who we can hopefully morph into a good centre half for the next couple of years. So we'll obviously see how he goes. Leon King, I've obviously got my doubts about, but we'll see how he obviously handles it. I think obviously with Raskin being out, you're looking to maybe push Hadji into that position. I think when you look at this team as well, you're maybe looking at Hadji captain in the side as well. Which again would just keep me be trading the trading the armband around the full team at this point. Diomande will obviously partner him. I think Oscar Cortez comes in for a start. He's obviously been building up his minutes. He's came into two difficult games so far since he's been back. And I think him from the start again is something I would do, as I was kind of briefly touching on before. I think you can see the players that Clement is wanting to use and the players that are going to be leaving the club and deemed kind of surplus to requirements. I think he Kieran Dowell, I think he Sergio Dessers, Rabi Matondo, guys that aren't even getting on the pitch anymore are they're done at the club, and that's pretty evident. So it won't be any of those guys. Oscar Cortez, obviously, we've committed to buying him next summer, so he is our player. We need to try and morph him in again into a player that we all think he's going to be. Cherny, Bayrami, and Egaman. It's as simple as that. We've not got many options, to be honest, in that side, but that's looks to be to me at the moment your Rangers side taking on Dundee on Thursday.
I'd maybe, I don't really make, personally, I don't really see one change, but I'd maybe drop Hadji out and put Barron in. That's all I could really
There's
say there.
obviously that's the only thing I can think of, but
Or as I say, maybe Bajrami drops for a game. But
I
I
think
think
actually looking at it, Barron probably will play just to protect the two centre halves.
that's what I'm thinking because obviously young there as well. Do you know what I mean? But for me personally, I don't really. Aye, that's the team. Cool. Go out and try and win, but
Aye.
away game and you can. I mean, two young boys going up against an experienced striker in Mr. That Murphy boy.
Oh, aye,
So
Simon. I mean, Simon Murray always
I mean,
gives
that's like
us.
you
Aye.
know what I mean. He's a grafter. So you know it's going to be a difficult night for the two young lads. But you listen, as I say, you never know. It could turn out and be the best partnership. You never know. You know what I mean?
I
It's
mean, aye.
go ahead because this, as I say, this season's already done. So, aye, that's if that's the team, that's the team. It's just obviously going to be another difficult away game. You can already sense it, and you would like to sit here and say that they would actually do business, but you know they won't do business beforehand. Obviously, I said to you today, maybe try. I'm surprised Ben Davies hasn't been maybe looked to call back, but as you said to me, he's probably been soaked permanently. That's why they've not really tried. So,
I think that's something for me that I'm looking at. I'm like, right. Say we had Balogun, but only Balogun fit at the moment. Say Proper wasn't suspended. I don't think I would be as heavily harsh on signing a new centre half as urgently as I am. If we had somebody of experience fit, but you're looking at a guy that's not even played a professional game yet, and Leon King, who's played 15 minutes of this season, is
Mhm.
going to be your two starting centre halves. To me, it's
I
just
personally, no, I get it for me, but for me personally, I'd still would be. I still iffy on proper. I just still don't think he's going to
no.
cut
I
it.
know.
That is still an area where we do need to go out and grab somebody. I just don't rush Balogun back. He's not obviously he's in the retirement stages. He's like, you know what I mean. Let's not be rushing him back to play. Same with Suter. Let's just they're going to come back. As I say, it's just one of the games where you have to get through it. And I could maybe see, as I say, maybe Diomande drop him in there or a corner Baron, as you say. But definitely think they two will be playing. I can see a Hadji or a Bajrami having to be sacrificed for this.
No,
It'd be
probably.
good. Be good to see Cortez get a run out. I want to actually see us try to develop this guy now. Obviously, instead of just giving him a wee odd. 10, 15 minutes. Let's get him actually on for a full 90 would be nice to watch and see what we've committed to buying.
No, no, of course. And as we say, it's obviously going to be a tough game. The games are coming thick and fast. I actually can't remember who we've got after this. Just bear
I
with
think
me, I
it's
check. Um,
Johnston. So Johnston on a Sunday in it, and then it's
St
Aberdeen.
Johnstone at home in Aberdeen. So there's two big league games coming up, and then you've got Fraserburgh in the cup where you can obviously rotate kind of the full
That's the game
team.
that's the game you'd like to play these two at centre
Aye,
half.
no, of course that's exactly it. But I could even maybe see obviously Clement is pretty stubborn with his formation and that. I could maybe see a world where he tries to just play three at the back or five at the back or something, just to give some protection. But I think he'll try and just plug players in where he can. I think Hadji, obviously, my thinking before, obviously, with the team was like just play a team that's going to be on the front foot. But obviously, if those two centre halves are playing, probably need that extra security with Barron in the midfield. But I think it's a huge week again for Rangers. Every single week at this club's huge. But we need to react again. We need to find a solution where we win the game against Dundee. We've shipped too many points away from home now, and we just can't
Oh,
let the league look embarrassing now. We need to just keep winning games, and
yeah,
as much as we're doing well on the kind of front foot now, it's just the defensive part of the game is just weakening by the minute.
well, Austin, just think about if we had won those two games, obviously before the Thursday and then the day. Do you know what I mean? They would you'd be feeling like we're back in it here.
Exactly.
But nah, it's Rangers and we don't really want to be back in it. I just I say I'm just sort of just done with it. I'm sort of numb with it. I'm just it is what it is now, innit, really. Do you know what I mean? You just have to get on with it. And I think that's just the way Clement's got to be right now as well. Do you know what I mean? He's just got to get on with it. He probably knows no real business going to be done this window. He's probably going to have to ship people out before he can bring MD in, which I mean, I'm begging that we can get rid of Cyril Dessers this window would be lovely.
No, well, look at that guy. He started near enough half the season, pretty much. As soon as Danilo gets fit, Egaman starts bagging the goals in. He's not even getting on the pitch anymore. Like, I think that kind of shows you the manager's feelings towards Dessers this full time. He only really had to play him because he was the only option.
Well, that's it, but it's just at the time obviously was the only option. But it'd be nice, as I say, to get. I don't think we'll get that kind of money that obviously that MLS mob are offering. I don't think we'll get something like that. But if we can try and ship him off there again, that'd be nice. And then, as you say, Dowles and your Matondos and all this kind of guys that are just here for a
Even
wage.
Tom Lawrence as well. His contract's running out. See if you get
Aye.
him back fit and just get rid of him. I mean, like these guys are no use anymore. Like you seen this team in Lawrence and Dessers and that were in it. It was some of the most soul destroying football we've ever seen Rangers play in our life. You swap that out, you bring somebody else that's obviously a bit more skillful, like Egeman in. You bring somebody
Just
that's
somebody
obviously got a
that's
bit more drive to their game,
not
like
even
Hadji.
not even that, mate. Just somebody that's committed and actually wants to be here would be nice to have at the club instead of people, as I say, that are just here to collect a wage and you know what I mean. It's just oh, I'm just here to just die. I want people that show the passion that Yanis showed on Thursday, was willing to do whatever it took to get the win. That's the kind of players that I want at the club. But it's just one of them now, as I say, where we've got to just keep going. It'll be interesting to see who plays at the back on Thursday. Probably will be the two young lads, but I say I wouldn't be shocked if Diomande or a Connor Barnes slotted in there just to shoot it up a bit. And then now we go into St Mirren. No, sorry.
St Johnstone. Obviously St Johnstone. Dundee was the game of the day. Dundee winning 3-1 away from home. So Dundee are one of those teams that they are tricky to play in, especially in their own backyard. They're a tough team to play, especially with the conditions expected this week in Scotland, like ice and snow and just pish, basically water. Like it'll be waterlogged up
Actual
there
pick.
like usual. Aye, obviously it's going to be poor weather. Obviously the last time up in Dundee was the game cancelled like three times or something before we got to play it. So there's obviously maybe that will play into it, which might even play into our hands. Just get the game cancelled so we can get players back for injury. But no, it's obviously a big period. We've seen some rumours obviously being linked with that centre half in Marseille. Again, I don't know if there's too much in that. I didn't really want to comment on that
Well,
before there was anything kind of reputable about it. But
the big one, I mean, is obviously is Ryan Kent coming back? would you take him back? I think we're both in the same agreement that you would take him back over a player like Rabbi Matondo. But you can't obviously forget, personally for me, obviously the last season wasn't really here, was he? Wasn't really in it. Does he bring that pet alligator with him? That's the question, you know what I mean?
For me, I think Ryan Kent's highs kind of outweighs his low
Aye, those
moments.
absolutely 100%.
I
Aye.
think if Ryan Kent's getting offered to you 6 month deal, option him maybe getting him for a year after that, offering him a contract, getting him back into football again. On a free, you can't turn your nose up at that for
I
me.
seen. Do you know what? Pedro might come in for him. Never know. He's looking
Nah,
at
he's
win.
kind of getting Rangers band back together down there with Windass and Morelos and that. So it's weird to see the way kind of life goes in the end. But I mean, if Kent had to make the journey back up to Glasgow, it would be a welcome addition into the squad. I think you look at both wide areas. We've got Cherny, obviously Cortez is coming back into it now. You've not got anybody else out
For me, you
there.
just
So
for me, you just I know it won't happen, but I'd love it if we just waited till the summer and we just went and got Sima. I mean, that would be. I mean, he
that's
keeps
obviously
teasing
the
it
dream in it.
every Instagram post. He keeps teasing us. Obviously, it would be nice to get him. And as I've said to you, I would only really be paying around about 2, 3 for Cherny. I wouldn't be paying.
Cherny's an interesting one because to me, he's just completely changed my whole mood on him. He's irreplaceable in this team, and he does a lot of hard work for the team as well. I
Aye.
can't look away the kind of effort that he's put into all these games that he's been available for and the goals that he's scored so far this season. I think he is a really, really exciting player. Obviously, he's a bit older than Sema, which would mean I would rather go out and get Sema, but I mean, if Cherny's willing to do business and Wolfsburg are willing to do business just to get them off the wage bill, obviously we've seen what we done this season when we just wanted players out. We ended up getting 500 grand for about five players. So the
It's
deals can be
just
done.
no, I know definitely can be done in that, but as I
Depends if
said,
we go and get 30 million for Hamza.
well, aye, and add-ons. But as I say, you have no confidence in this board to actually do business because they don't know how to do business. I'm surprised some of these people actually have actual businesses outside of the club. But aye, as I say, at the moment, it is what it is. You just have to get on with it. Aye, sort
It's,
of that.
it's pretty much exactly what
It's
it is.
just, I mean, for me, all season really, when we've been doing, I've just so numb, just absolutely so numb this season. No, Thursday was such a joyous moment, obviously. Obviously, it was a game where it absolutely meant nothing really in terms of the title race, but still, obviously, beating Celtic is fantastic. But no, you just as you say, you come back down to earth today, don't you? And you just realise there's a long way to go. There's a hell of a long way to go before we can actually do it anyway.
Pretty much, aye, and that's exactly where we'll end the episode. Aye, there's obviously been a lot to talk about, positives, negatives, but as simple as that, we just need to roll up our sleeves and get on with it. And exactly the same as the team will need to do. So up until that game, obviously until Thursday, and then heading into next week, we'll be back with another episode covering the two games, looking ahead to the transfer news, if any, and hopefully a more positive week next week. So we'll see you then.